Hello, welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin, and today we are diving into masculine and feminine polarities, which I've been working in my life with my shaman, with my tantric practices. So we are talking about attraction, specifically why we are neurologically and spiritually wired to chase our opposites, and why that chase is often ending in a big crash and heartache, which I have experienced and you've probably experienced. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the wounded feminine and wounded masculine, not as genders necessarily, but as energies that exist in all of us. We'll talk about why these wounds are so magnetic and they sort of appear as chemistry, how to spot them, and more importantly, how to heal them so that you can have freedom in your life and you won't keep getting your heart broken. So we're going to go through this through the lens of Tantra, not just physical stuff, but the philosophy and the polarity. So we'll look at meditation also and how it acts as a third eye that allows us to witness these patterns without being consumed by them. Patterns in yogic philosophy are known as samskaras, and sometimes we have patterns of abandonment and just chasing unavailable people that are from a generational wound. And so just so you know, this stuff can go really deep. So there's this tantric view of polarity. Polarity is the universe was born with the dance of Shiva Nataraj. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see plenty of pictures of me in India in front of Shiva Nataraj doing the dance. And this dance is matched with Shakti. Shakti appears as Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, Kalima. And when these energies come together, they are stillness and motion, consciousness and energy. They are primal polarities. The reason why we are drawn to opposites is because we are hardwired to seek wholeness. If you are overly logical and rigid, you will be magnetically drawn to someone who is emotional and free-flowing. Hitting home. Why? Because they hold the missing piece of your own internal puzzle. And for me, it's on the opposite because I am very emotional and free-flowing. And so when my wounded feminine was pulling somebody in, they would pull in an extreme polarity. And without this knowledge, it was very, very attractive to me. And through my healing, I'm sharing this so that you can avoid and sort of dodge that bullet. Here's the catch. Tantra doesn't teach us to merge into one amorphous blob. It teaches us to hold the tension, hold the container of the opposites. The attraction isn't a mistake, it's a mirror. The person who triggers you the most is usually holding the very energy that you have repressed within you. Very interesting the way these chemical things work inside of your neurotransmitters. So we chase the opposite because it promises completion. And again, remember, we all want that wholeness, that purnada, that feeling of complete wholeness and fullness. But if you aren't grounded in your own center, that attraction turns into enmeshment. You lose yourself in trying to possess the other's energy, which is not healthy. It leads to obsession, it leads to manipulation, sometimes abuse, all these different things. We're trying to get these needs met. True polarity in Tantra is about two full poles, a complete circuit. When one pole is empty, it's not a circuit, it's like an endless, hungry ghost. So, I think it's helpful to define the wounded energies so that you can feel personally attacked. No, I'm kidding. So that you can take a moment to reflect on yourself and see if any of these wounded energies apply to you. It certainly did to me, and I would tell you also that most people fit into that category. So specifically, we need to separate out the essence of masculine and feminine from the wounds. So healthy masculine is clarity, direction, space holding, protection, and purpose. It's the arrow of Arjuna. Wounded masculine is domination and withdrawal. It's a tyrant, or what we'll refer to as the ghost, which I have personal experience with. Healthy feminine is intuition, receptivity, creativity, emotional flow, and connection. Shakti is the ocean. Wounded feminine is manipulation, victim mindset, and or a seductress or a martyr. So you can see how these are manipulative tactics to get needs met of this sort of vacuum that is this hungry ghost on the inside. So how do they show up in men? You might want to know. So with men, and regarding wounded masculine, it shows up as one, the tyrant. The tyrant wants to control everything. He uses anger or money to create safety rather than actual emotional stability and availability. He is terrified of vulnerability because he equates it with weakness. He draws in a wounded feminine who needs saving or structure. So he feels like he needs to rescue her rather than be alongside her or create a container. The ghost. So the ghost is another option for wounded masculine. And it is this person who's checked out. They're addicted to work or screens. They are emotionally absent. They draw in a wounded feminine who feels invisible and tries desperately to get his attention. And you see how this game is going to end in heartbreak. She wants it. He can't provide it. She pokes at it. He gets more perturbed, and then he goes in. She is the hungry ghost. Then he might become the hungry ghost. And it's this dance back and forth that is really one that you want to step out of. So, men, regarding wounded feminine, men do have wounded feminine too. It's not just one or the other. A man with wounded feminine, his inner world becomes codependent. He loses his boundaries to keep the peace or becomes overly emotional to manipulate situations. It's funny, as I'm going through this and studying this stuff, it's hitting home with me just like the different kinds of relationships that I've had and making me very reflective. Hopefully it's doing the same for you. So with women, regarding wounded feminine, they appear in different ways. So one way is the seductress. She uses her sexuality or charm to gain power, because this power might be a false indicator of love. She believes her value is in the appearance to please, to show up like gorgeous, to draw in attention that would phantom as love. She draws in tyrants because she equates intensity with love. Think of like any Lana Del Rey song. The martyr. So the martyr is a bit more firm, a bit more like locked down. She overgives. She does everything for everyone, but she's not soft. She's very tense. And she kind of pushes away love in the way that, oh, I don't need help. I can do everything myself. I can fix it. And she draws in a ghost because she wants to fix him. So you can see these polarities. Hopefully very fascinating. So in women, regarded wounded masculine, women can also be tyrants. Like, of course we have that in us because we have masculine as well as feminine. Women who are too hyperlogical, rigid, and controlling. This happens when a woman has been hurt and decides she must protect herself by being hard and firm, and that shuts down a healthy chance for femininity and being received. She rejects her receptive nature because it feels unsafe. Like a belief system behind that might be, it feels unsafe to be soft. And that was one that I definitely carried and one that I'm currently working on too. So the key takeaway here is your type isn't a coincidence. If you are drawn to intensity, jealousy, or unavailability, that is your wound looking to come to the surface so that it can be touched, you can bring awareness to it, and you can fix it. That is your shadow looking for a dance partner. So if you feel personally attacked by what I've just said, apologies, but not really. Sorry, not sorry. It's going to cause you to go inward and to look at yourself, hopefully from a more nurturing lens. So where's the medicine? So how do we stop the cycle? How do we stop being triggered by these dynamics? Because you can definitely spend your entire life, and a lot of people do, just going through this cycle of heartbreak and loneliness and hungry ghost and trying to control. This is where yogic and tantric practices of Sakshi Bhava, the witness consciousness comes in. In the Yoga Sutras, he teaches us that the chitta vrittis, the fluctuations of the mind, cause suffering. There is 2 Yoga Sutras. It's Sukha Nushayi Ragaha and Dukkha Nushavi Dveshaha. This is craving causes suffering. Aversion causes suffering. And yet we go for it. So these are fluctuations of the mind. Your attraction to a toxic person is a fluctuation. It's a vibration of fear or craving. So dvesha, which is avoidance or fear, and raga, which is like a craving for or a desire for. So meditation is a tool that allows us to separate the witness from the wounded. So it's so important. If you do not have space in your mind, you will not be able to heal. The pattern's going to be too close to you. You're going to think you're the pattern. So meditation is, this is my humble opinion as a yoga therapist, a must. This stops the projection. In meditation, you learn to witness your thoughts. When you sit in silence, you realize, I am not my anger, I'm not my lust, I'm not my loneliness. When you see a thought arise, you say, there's loneliness, or I have the feeling of loneliness in me, not I'm lonely. Because asmita is an egoic over-identification with something that is not you, and it causes suffering. So you don't say, I am lonely, you say, I feel. There's a gap. In Tantra, there is a concept of antarmona, which is the inner silence. When you meditate, you create a gap between the stimulus, the person you are attracted to, which is stimulus, and the response, your desire to chase them. In that gap lies your freedom. Objective viewing is something when you have a crush on a hungry ghost. Wounded masculine, meditation allows you to objectively view him. So instead of thinking, gosh, he's like an enigma, he's so mysterious, girl, I have no idea about him, I just need to fix him. I need to unlock him, I need to help him, cure him. This was me, for sure. He is not emotionally available is the new script. You see it as a fact, and it's not my job to fix. See like how much peace that can create rather than this is my new project, because then you abandon yourself. Chronic self-abandonment, you can never heal. Meditation makes you sovereign. I love that word. So it plugs you into your own source. When you are plugged into source, you are no longer starving. You're not the hungry ghost. You don't need the other person's energy to complete you. You can see their wound, love their wound, and recognize it that they are not your healing project. They are a fellow traveler in this whole like cosmic soup. So when you can do that, you can reclaim your peace. So to put it all together, there's certain tools that we can use for real healing, not just superficial level, and it does require a commitment, committing to your own healing practice. So you can't just like talk about healing. Like inner work is not just up here, it's in here, it's somatics. There's a lot of different tools that we can use to clear out this stuck energy. We have to like literally do the work. Here are 4 real tools to stop the draw toward wounded polarities. 1, the polarity pause, which are also known as boundaries. When you feel that like dizzying, intoxicating pull towards someone, don't text back immediately. Like check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that is probably a wound. Because if it feels that intense, you just need to take a step back. You can sit with the sacred pause, sit with the feeling, and ask yourself, is this attraction or is this familiar pain? Because it's easy to get them confused. The tantric fix is to put your hands on your lower belly. So this is the Swadhisthana chakra, which is our energy center of creativity and sexual identity. Breathe in and ask your body, do I feel safe or excited? Ooh, that's a good one. Safety is healthy, anxiety is a wound. And if you have sexual wounds, just so you know, a lot of the time those lines are very blurred. And in fact, the wiring is just crossed weird. So it's good to sit with it, because then you can actually pull it apart and heal. If you're drawn to hyper masculine tyrants, you need to develop your own inner masculinity that's going to hold the boundary, that's going to keep you safe. So start making definitive choices, set a boundary daily, say no to one thing you don't want to do, and practice that. And as you continue to practice that, you're going to gain a safety and confidence within yourself. So if you're drawn to hyper feminine, like damsels in distress, you need to develop your inner feminine. Start doing something creative with no goal, like dance, cook without a recipe, just like allow your intuition to kind of guide you, even if it feels like funky or goofy. Heal the split by embodying the opposite energy yourself. You won't need to chase it if you own it. And then you can make a conscious choice if you want to be with someone that matches a fullness of energy, not just one incomplete circuit. A witness journal is another thing that you can do after an interaction that triggered you, and write down 3 columns. So 1 is fact. They didn't call me back. And this is actually similar to the clear formula. The story. They don't love me. I am worthless. And the witness. I notice I am telling myself a story of abandonment, and this is a pattern. I am actually okay. So again, clear formula would be C is the circumstance, so they didn't call me back. L is they don't actually love me, and then we would have the corresponding emotion, which might be something like abandonment or loneliness. So this is somatics mixed with cognitive behavioral therapy mixed with Tantra. So if it shifts you from being the wound and being able to see the wound. So there's a difference when you can actually witness it versus when you are too far into it. The last one is the gratitude practice for self-sourcing. Wounded feminine and masculine is born of lack. Heal lack with abundance. Every morning, place your hand on your heart and say, I have all the love I need within me. I am the source. In Sanskrit, it's aham brahmasi. When you are full, you attract someone who is also full. Fullness attracts fullness, and emptiness attracts desperation. And if you've been on this ride a bunch of times and you're kind of over it, like this is the way. Like you're not going to find this emptiness full in another partner. You're going to find it within yourself, because happiness, fullness, and wholeness exists within. Yoga is the journey of the self through the self to the self. And so if you're willing to take that journey, you can heal. So, and just remember, it's not like everybody or nobody has like wounds. Like everybody has some kind of wound. So as long as you can try to work on yourself and be aware of these concepts and really do some deep interpersonal digging, then the frequency and algorithm of who you're going to attract in your life is going to be a lot healthier. So taking time to like witness and do some of these practices, especially if you find that like these have been your last couple of relationships, then it's a good idea to listen to this podcast, practice some of these techniques, and let me know how it goes. Let me know what you feel. Let me know what you experience. And a couple of things, just in case you didn't hear, we are going to Thailand in November, from November 4th to the 15th. I have 3 spots left for this venture, and it is combining adventure, yoga, spirituality, and just having an awesome kick-ass guide, me, and going through Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Krabi, and there's a bunch of other like mindful, spiritual type people. So it's a great way to bond, meet new friends, and have an amazing adventure. Also, I have my coach school where I teach all these cognitive behavioral therapy tools, along with some somatic tools, as well as yogic technology, tantra, and a whole bunch of other tools I've put together in a curriculum. And it's a 6-month program, but there's 8 intensive days. And this is being held in Bradenton, right across the street from Thrive Yoga and Fitness. If you're interested, it's a great way to bond, get to know yourself, and heal yourself from the inside out. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.